Yes, lads, welcome back to the channel for another video, another live stream. This one is a little bit different to what I normally do on the channel. I did do one of these last season. I think I only done one of them all the season before. I know I've definitely done one of these before, but I am going to bring these as a regular bit of content to the channel. It's just going through the press conference that James Rowberry has obviously give ahead of the Walsall game. I'll be doing this for pretty much every game that I can, obviously, providing that I'm not doing something at the time. So what I'll be doing, I'll be watching the press conference and basically reacting to it on stream. I don't know whether to actually put the press conference on stream or just listen to it in the background. That's what I'll probably do just to avoid any potential copyright. So let's get straight into it. James Clark. James Clark is still out injured. James Clark won't be available until the Bradford game. We're looking to get him back for the Bradford game. He's had a scan, and basically he will be out until at least Luton. So he won't play tomorrow, but there's the likelihood that he will play against Bradford or be back in the team for the Bradford game. So we are missing James Clark a little bit, but he will be back for Bradford, is what James says. So it's a fully fit squad apart from James Clark. So no injury concerns apart from James Clark. No injury concerns. He's now been asked about, obviously, it being Michael Flynn's return. Are you sort of, is there any added spice into the game with it being the return of Michael Flynn? Obviously, great manager for us, absolute legend for Newport. Is there any sort of spice added into that or into the game due to that fact? And James Rowberry just says no, not for him. Yeah, again, look, no matter what Michael Flynn has done for us, like I said, he's an absolute legend, Michael Flynn. At the end of the day, this is a football match. This is Newport County taking on Walsall. It's a League Two football match at the end of the day. No matter what Michael Flynn has done, what he has done is an absolute unbelievable job for this football club. But we've got to look past that now. We've got to look past what Michael Flynn has done. Big up to Yayan and to Barrow on tour. Thanks for showing your support. Let's continue the press conference. Again, look, what Michael Flynn done, unbelievable. When it gets to that kickoff, we won't be there won't be any love between us and Michael Flynn. Once kickoff starts, before the game, absolutely, 100%. Give him the reception he deserves, but definitely not during the game. Yeah, he was just asked about obviously when he came into the role, what Michael Flynn, what Wayne Hatswell left behind for James Rowberry coming into the role, stepping into the role. I think this press conference is going to go sort of the way that I expected it to go, being asked about Mike Flynn and that side of it. But in terms of the actual footballing side, we haven't got to that yet. But definitely what Mike Flynn and Wayne Hatswell left for James Rowberry to step in and come in was unbelievable. And when he when James Rowberry came in, Michael Flynn wasn't sacked. The players weren't massively down on morale or anything like that. It was just Michael Flynn departed on his own accord, left the squad in a good place for Rowberry to come in and sort of, kick on from that. There was no sort of bad feeling left in the squad. I don't know why. I don't know why they're talking about. I just don't know why they're talking about last season, not last season, about the Great Escape season and stuff like that. I completely get the context of it. Obviously, Michael Flynn and what he'd done and his legacy, but yeah, I'm not too sure about that. Whether you should be doing that in a press conference. Big up to Andrew. See you tomorrow. Hopefully, mate. Hopefully. Right, let's get on with it again then. Again, asked about the crowd, the fans. Are they going to have that added spice due to it being Mike Flynn and the return of Flynn? And again, Ray Rowberry answers it in the perfect way by saying yes, but we're not focused on that. We're focused on playing our style of play. We're focused on winning the game. Perfect answer. Again, yeah, Wayne Hatswell is obviously Michael Flynn's assistant, and Wayne Hatswell was the assistant for James Rowberry for a little period of time before he went and joined Michael Flynn at Walsall. So that's going to be weird having someone who you worked with earlier on last season to now being in the opposite dugout. That'll be interesting. Yeah, again, asked about Wayne Hatswell. Ray Rowberry responds with, "It's all about getting the first win of the season after the draw away at Sutton." Again, perfect answer. Again, asked about last season's form towards the end of the season in terms of the home form, and again replied with the end of the season was awful at home. We've got new players now. We've got a new squad, and definitely that's the way forward. I think just moving on from last week and going on to this week. The last question from Rob Phillips basically said, for those that didn't travel to Sutton on last Saturday, what are you expect, or what can they expect to see from last season to now? And he just said there's going to be more fight to the cause, more players just fighting for the badge and putting their bodies on the line and stuff and working their socks off, like we saw last week though with Declan Drysdale. I mean, he went up for a challenge, 6 stitches, right, a bandage across the head, and he's running straight back on to get onto the pitch. So the squad is, I wouldn't say better this season, but it's a lot more work had this season than last year. I think last season we were a bit slacky at times, but on Saturday we didn't stop, running, we didn't stop chasing for the entire 90 minutes, which is exactly what you want to see. And James Rowberry has perfected that in his answer as well. Andrew says, Rowberry knows what to say to the press. Exactly. He knows how to shut down stupid comments. Like there was one that they just mentioned about Wayne Hatswell, and I think Rob said basically like, Wayne Hatswell, do you still go for drinks with him and stuff? And he said, we're not divorced, we're still mates, and it's the perfect way to cut the question. Right, let's carry on. Just over 5 minutes to go. Again, I'm not happy with this. The first question that Chris Kirwan asks to James Rowberry, Wayne Hatswell, do you still speak to him? Why? Why? Again, the second question, first question, do you still speak to him? Second question, Wayne is very entertaining in the dugout, and so is yourself. James Rowberry just laughs it off. He doesn't need to answer that question. Yes, that's the question. That is the question. Chris asks, what's the difference between the build-up play and the press from Sutton and Walsall? And he says, the thing is with Sutton, they had pretty much one way of playing. Walsall can play it out from the back, build their attack up from the back, or they can go direct and hit a long ball. Great answer. Great question. Set plays are going to be massive tomorrow. We have to make sure that our set plays are on point. We know what a Michael Flynn team is like. He likes his set plays, likes to whip that ball into the box, in towards his danger men. Going to have to look out for that tomorrow. Again, talking about implant style implements. Again, talking on the games from last season against Walsall, a 3-3 draw, and a last minute winner from James Clark in the game at Rodney Parade. Again, it's just set plays that got goals in both of those games. Most of the goals in the 3-3 draw were set piece goals, and then the exact same for the game at Rodney Parade as well when we won 2-1. That again was set plays that sort of dictated the game. Again, sort of like the fans said, it should be pretty much close to a sellout at Rodney Parade. I think Walsall have asked for more tickets for the away end as well. So, we're looking forward to potentially a sellout or close to that as well. Or transfer news, hoping to get something done early next week. So whether that's a new transfer, whether that's a loanee, apparently something potentially could happen early next week in terms of an incoming. One or two potentially through the door. Again, so he just basically asked what sort of position, if you're going to look for one or two transfers to come in, what positions are we looking at? And he just said a number 10. So obviously we had Ollie Cooper last season. Azaz could play there. We've lost an option there, to be fair. So yeah, I'd say that a number 10 is what we do need. And James Rowberry expresses that. Again, so asked about obviously the players coming in, and James Rowberry's now saying that teams are coming to us rather than us going to them, saying, "Can we have your player on loan?" teams are now coming to Newport and saying, would you like this player on loan for the season? We think that he could progress well at you to come back for us and then potentially, go on to be, bigger and better things, which is always nice. You'd like to see teams coming to Newport and saying, would you like this player on loan? We think he'll do good for you. Big up Bailey. Let's carry on with the rest of it. So he said the target in terms of signings was 9 signings through the door, but he said so we're looking at 9 and then potentially getting a 10th signing in. So 1 or 2 potentially could be signed early next week, loan signings. So don't know who that'll be yet. A number 10 potentially, and potentially a defender, a midfielder, something like that, or a forward. And that is it then. That is the James Rowberry press conference. So we've talked about injuries. We've talked about obviously the Michael Flynn reunion. We've talked about obviously from last week what we're expecting to change this week. We've talked about new signings as well. But I'm interested. I'm interested to see what happens tomorrow. Like I said, there will be a match preview where we actually discuss the game and preview the game. We're not doing that in this video. But like I said, a massive shout out to everyone who's tuned in for this. I'm going to try and make this a regular thing to, put the press conference reaction for every game out on the channel. Like I said, if you haven't done so already, please drop us a like, subscribe to the channel, comment your thoughts down below as well. Do you agree with what James Rowberry said in his press conference? I will see you at 5 p.m. for the Walsall versus Newport match preview, and I'll speak to you guys shortly. Thanks for watching.